Hey, thanks for stopping by Mystic Messages. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, it's good to have you back. I hope everyone is doing well. Please keep in mind that these messages are timeless, so you will receive them in divine timing, especially for those who are meant to hear this. And as always, if the message doesn't apply, please let it fly. You're always welcome to come back for the next one. Okay, so this morning during meditation and prayer, I received an interesting download from the divine, and it's something that the divine wants me to put out there. Okay, and I'm just following what the divine is asking me to do. And hopefully those who need to hear this message will receive it. And, and what I was told was that there's a lot of people out there who are going to get this message, including in my collective, who are unfortunately surrounded by those who consider themselves to be Christian, but their actions say opposite. Okay, what I mean by that is nothing against Christians personally. Everyone is entitled to believe whatever they want. But unfortunately, a lot of people who call themselves Christian uh, are not living a or not living the lifestyle or by the teachings of Jesus. They go through the motions. They go to church. They receive communion. They sing. They praise. And the minute that service is over, they're out there gossiping about who wore what and look how this person looks and whatnot, and talking about other people. And this is not Christian-like behavior. It's not Christ-like behavior. So the source wants us to be more discerning with those we surround ourselves with. Now, many out there are going to have these people as part of their family and friends. Okay, and it's our job to uh, you know, confront them when they're spewing garbage, when they're spewing prejudice and hatred against someone, when they're gossiping. They need to be reminded, is that Christ-like behavior? And Source also wants you to ask them the question just to prove to yourself so you could see who they are. I mean, ask them, would they recognize Jesus Christ if he was to come down today? Many of these people are waiting for this second coming, and unfortunately, they're going to have a long wait because the second coming is about Christ consciousness returning to earth, love returning to this planet. And that's what the spiritual movement is trying to initiate on the planet. One person at a time through these videos. And we all have a responsibility. We all have work to do, including those in the collective who are watching this video. You know, you're just as responsible as I am for passing along messages to those who need to hear them for their own benefit, regardless of what the response is going to be. If they're going to hate you, let them hate you. I mean, if somebody's going to hate you for telling the truth and trying to get them on the correct path, well, then so be it. Let them hate you, you know? And then ask yourself, why would you want to be around a person who pretends to be, better than everyone else and holy, and then gossips, lies, steals, is bigoted against people of a different race, a different color? I mean, the question that needs to be posed to these so-called Christians is, again, would they recognize Jesus if he came? Jesus was a Middle Eastern man. Jesus had dark skin, and ironically, many of these Christians out there fear Middle Eastern people and people with dark skin. They accuse Muslims of trying to, proselytize and force their religious ways on others. Meanwhile, that's what they do. I mean, take a look at what's happening in the country right now. Okay. We have Christians that have overtaken the government where they don't belong. Okay. Now, like I said, nothing against Christians. If you want to be Christian, that's fine. You want to be Catholic, that's fine. It doesn't matter. But keep your religion at home and in your own church. Okay. For those who want to, ascribe to that. It's not your job. Okay. It's not their job. I shouldn't say you because I'm not speaking to the collective, but the collective and anyone who finds this message will find themselves surrounded by these people. And this is what Source is asking of you, is to let them know that it's not their job, okay, to play God. It is not their job to condemn people that they dislike because of their skin color. It's not their job to feel, superior to others while trying to make others inferior to them. That is not Christ-like behavior. Okay, they claim to be Christian, and the only time that they're acting Christian is in church, among fellow worshipers. And the minute that service is over, and I've seen this with my eyes many times, you see women gathering in groups and corners and cliques and gossiping about people. I mean, that's not Christ-like behavior. Or these very women who feel justified in the fact to say that, if someone is an immigrant or has dark skin, that they should be, they should be jailed and tortured. And this is not Christian at all. And anyone who surrounds themselves by this, uh, you're allowing your own vibration to be taken from you, your own positive vibration. I mean, if you're serious about being on the path of spirituality, you have to be very mindful of those you surround yourself with. You also have to have a high standard of conviction and be able to speak truth when people are, behaving in a way that is the opposite of what they claim to believe in. And speak that truth without fear of repercussion. It doesn't matter. You have to ask yourself, do you want to be around a person who's going to lower your vibration? Or would you like to offer them an opportunity to see things from a truthful perspective? Again, not by force, but by simply saying to them, would they recognize Jesus Christ if he was here? Because chances are they'd crucify him all over again. I hate to say that, but that's the truth, and that's how Sorce feels about it. Okay, this is why Sorce feels that it's important that this message gets out there, and and to have it passed on to others. The information, not so much the video, but take the information that you're getting from this video, and don't be afraid to confront those who are around you who claim to be Christian, and yet their behavior says the opposite. And if that's an issue, you have to ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Why would I be afraid of losing a negative person who pretends to be, holy? You have to keep in mind, when you're around a person who gossips to you about other people, guess what? They're doing the same thing to you when you're not there. A gossip is it's always revealing themselves. People who speak bad about others in your presence are doing the same thing about you when you're not around. So you have to ask yourself, why would I be afraid about losing that person? Why would I be afraid about not having that person in my life? What am I losing? You're losing nothing but an anchor. But if you can help uplift that person and change their viewpoint, or get them thinking, just by planting a seed, you did something positive. Like I always tell you, regardless of what the outcome's going to be, they might hate you. And you have to be willing to accept that if you're truly on a path of spirituality, if you're truly serious about keeping a high vibration, about assisting people on this planet, assisting the animals of this planet, assisting the planet, in total, the water, the air, the trees, the plants, you know. In order for us to do that, we have to raise the vibration, okay? And it takes work, I can't do this by myself. I need others out there to help me. And I don't do this because I'm expecting some kind of praise or accolade from it. I do this solely for my love of wanting to serve the planet and its inhabitants, and first and foremost, God, doing what Sorce asks me to do, what the ascended masters would want me to do. And sometimes that takes a person, to learn the ability to speak clearly without fear of repercussion, because there's going to be repercussion. People will probably hate what I have to say right now, and I'm cool with that. That's fine. You know, keep it to yourself. Doesn't matter, because I don't let that bother me. I know what my purpose is. I know what my job is, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. So, regardless of whether one person watches this video or 20 people watch it, it doesn't matter. Whoever gets it is the one who was meant to get it. And those who are in this collective, obviously, you understand these messages because you are already on a higher level. You might need a little push, okay, to keep your vibration high and to help, separate yourself from those out there that you shouldn't be around, okay, for your own benefit. Like I said, it doesn't mean you have to get rid of these people forever. If they decide to find the light and realize where they can change things around for themselves, fine, welcome them back into your life. But if they remain in a hateful, lower vibrational status, they're going to drag you down with them, whether that's family, friends, and regardless of how long you know anyone. They're just not helpful to your cause or to the cause of the earth. They're not. Lower vibration isn't helpful to any of us. We have to lift each other up. And sometimes, yes, we have to be a little, you know, I don't know if I want to use the word stern, but, serious. We have to be serious and really put it out there. Put the facts out there for what they are, like Sorce said, would Christians recognize Jesus if he returned to earth right now? And personally, I don't think so. I really don't. Again, they would be horrified to find out that Jesus has dark skin and dark hair. I mean, they're so accustomed to looking at these pictures of Jesus with blonde hair and blue eyes, which is ridiculous if you think about it. How could a person who was born in the Middle East look like that? And a lot of them won't like it because Jesus represents the one thing that most Christians fear, which is Muslims, which is another ball of worms and nonsense, because they believe in the same God. And ironically, the Muslims, the Jews, and the Christians, who all believe in the same one God, the same source, fight against each other over religious dogma because they can't accept each other for who they are. And that's just the truth. And that is not Jesus like. Jesus accepted and loved everyone. I might not agree with people out there, but God asked that I love them regardless. They are my brother, they are my sister. They may be a little misguided. Unfortunately, a lot of them are, under some type of a dark presence which has, infected our planet, and they're being controlled because they're unaware. That's why God placed others of us out there to help people become aware, and not through force, and not through anger, but through love. And sometimes love has to be tough love, and you have to walk away from the situation, not only for your benefit, but for someone else's. Because if a person wants to constantly stay in a lower vibration 3D status, there's nothing you're going to be able to do to get them out of there. And you have to be able to say, I need to love myself and Sorce more, or whoever it is that I deem my higher power, to move away from this situation if I want to make a positive change on this earth. So I'm going to leave everyone at that for today, and I wish you all peace and happiness, and I'm sending much love out there to all of you. I thank everyone for their support. Even if I don't say it enough, know that I am always eternally grateful for everyone that takes the time to spend uh, 10 or 12 minutes, whatever the amount of the video is, with myself and these divine messages. I really appreciate you, and so does Sorce. You know, so let's all get together. Let's keep uplifting each other. Let's keep uplifting the planet, and let's get to work. I hope everyone stays great, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.